Alright, hello everyone again, and this time the coaching will be for another low-level team, Neko Nyoctos. They will be going against Reefresh, and I don't know either team's comps or playstyles, but we're gonna learn it pretty quickly after seeing the first team comps and then the first game or two. So, yeah. Until then, I will be waiting for their room. Is this person online? Okay, they are online. But yeah.
Four, five, six. Yeah, you do outnumber us. I just want to make sure Echo has room to spectate. So I guess maybe choose now who you're gonna have play first game. Do you guys want to just go through like the map modes that little Squid League posted? I can like post it in the chat real quick.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Where's my allies?
Copy this. Copy text, please. Yoink. Come on.
Can you use the bathroom real fast?
Yeah. Here is this. And where's the this. Yoink. I guess I didn't need to include the counterpick.
Counterpick.
I love counterpick.
I love that map.
It's my favorite map in the whole Splatoon.
Also, I just want to say, all the coaching here will be primarily in the perspective of Neko Nyoctos. Refresh, if you would like me to maybe come over and coach, like I can send you the VOD as well because it'll be a spec cam, so that might be helpful. But
Alright.
you know, the offer's open, but don't sweat it.
Alright, let me set this map. Also, which chat are we gonna once we're ready?
Okay, I'm here.
Who wants to go in which chat? Who wants to go in Scrimmy Bingus and who wants to go in Scrungus Bungus?
It's Fungus. I want Strongest Fungus.
I'm a pretty big fan of Scrungus Bungus.
Yeah, I think
Everyone here loves Scrungus Bungus.
Everybody loves.
Yeah, it's my Strongest Fungus. Cat's name, by the way.
Like colloquially.
Colloquially. His real name is Seamus, but Kaya and I, or B and I, whenever we visit my parents, we always call him Skungle, because he is a little hairless cat and he looks like a shaved ball sack.
He does.
Oh god.
And I love him.
That's honestly the best type of cat. Let's be real.
Oh, he's wonderful. He's insane, and I love him very much.
Oh, also
Anyway,
yeah. All right. Good luck to both Refresh and Neko Nyoctos. I will stay in Neko Nyoctos scrim thing. So yeah.
Okay, I'm just counting to make sure it's good. Okay. Okay. Are we all good to go?
Yeah.
I am all good to go.
All right. I'm fairly certain everyone has the right what's it called? Like roles and permissions to be able to access things. Let me know. I'll let you guys go into your chat first, just in case there's an issue before I get all set.
Okay, so
Alright, it seems
we're going into Scrungus Bungus.
Strongest
Indeed.
Bungus. Yeah, we like to leave it that way. We can go back and just scrim, hang out like once we're done talking after a game. That way, like everybody knows we're ready to go again.
Okay, okay. By the way, as far as comps go, what types of weapons do each of you play?
So I play mainly Splash and Splatter Shot. I used to play more NZAP, but like not as much anymore.
Okay.
Sid, I used to play dualies in 2, but yeah.
Fresh, because anything else I don't like to change it up because then I forget what I'm doing and I fuck up. I'm only doing Fresh.
Okay, so Sid Brush, B Splash and Shot. Is there any way Sid could get on VC not using B's mic? That sounds like it's cramped.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I can. Yeah, you know what? Let me grab my computer and actually let me grab my headphones and sit on a bed and see if that changes it.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's just Sid was noticeably quieter, and so like it was mostly just like it sort of works, but I didn't know like if they were even here until then. Okay. So then Narrow and Rage in that order.
Alright, I play a bunch of weapons. I mostly play Splatlings and Sloshers, well the buckets, rather. That's usually my type of three-coders.
So all buckets that are available, so Slosher Machine or just Blah Blah or Explo?
I mean, I could play the other buckets, but it's mostly Blah Blobber, Explo,
Okay.
Sloshing.
Okay.
I can pull out the Slosher and try Slosher.
Okay, okay. Honestly,
I like the
that's
mist buckets.
that's a good set. And then Rage.
I play Squiffer, Dapples, and Flings.
Okay.
I play more weapons, but I usually just play those 3 primarily.
Fair enough. Alright.
Squiffer is my, the main weapon I usually choose, but I usually play the other 2 sometimes.
Okay.
Here we go.
Alright,
Okay,
good luck.
can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Loud and clear. Okay, so
Okay, so they do have that e-leader thing we talked about
if I'm like too loud on the stream, by the way, let me know. Okay, so Shot Machine Brushed Apple. First things first, this is Rainmaker. Tactical will be amazing here. I can see why you want the torpedo, but if you want torpedo that badly, then SC Junior can often fill that role. Okay. So Sid's a bit alone here, but Brush can survive there, so it's really not that much. Mostly just... Okay, good stop. They overextended there. You do have numbers? What do you do with it? I really like the idea on Rage going left while the other 2 were moving up. The main thing is, after Rage went down... Oh, after Rage went down, you both ignored the Junior as it moved back up. I think you didn't need to have control up front as much as you needed mid, and you could have easily gotten that 2v1 where your Dapple died, and then moved up with that, and still probably gotten a pick or at least pushed him back. It was a bit unfortunate. This Junior is just holding forward. That is okay. That's just a matter of mechanics. I think oh, they missed the drop. Yeah, that's mostly just unfortunate aim. Having a Junior rush you can be like a sort of test of that, where like they shouldn't have won that or even that fight, but if they have paint control, it can be harder to win. Let's see. Watch out for this crab. Okay, good BR to destroy the crab, but you need to push with this pick. Do any of you? Interesting. Just your brush has ninja. Honestly, that's fair. Just considering the leader, it might be helpful in like future games to have ninja, but I don't know. You were alone, Dapple. The Rainmaker still need to push up into mid, and y'all don't have that much paint in mid, as you can see. Same thing's happening with the brush right now. There's still not that much paint in mid. You can't push until you get paint in mid. Again, if they have paint around, you don't know if they're going to be there. So Rage got punished and had to move all the way back instead of just painting on left side of mid. It's really just like you really need paint on left side on this map. That's the main way you give it in. And honestly, okay, considering the crab was there, decent. But because they have a leader and like 3 other things that can punish Reef Slider against better teams, they will probably just wait until the Reef Slider's done and then instantly kill you. So just watch out for your Reef Slider. In situations like that, you might want to roll with Apple. Just again, unfortunate mechanics. Oh, bomb awareness, no. You'll still need a bit more paint, especially B's probably the weapon that's most able to, but I mean, the machine and brush can paint decently well, so. I wonder if it's like, they're all like shorter ranged in the splash, except for the shot of machine. So, having more than one weapon that's like that can be difficult. You need space in front of the Rainmaker. Okay. Decent check, honestly. I like the BR to keep up momentum. I think... So why did that push die? I think it was just, the opponent had a lot of time to push up with the flank. Everyone was looking at that, while the Rainmaker was pushed up farthest. Okay, really good space. I like that the Dapple's taking a fight here to just get Rainmaker up even further, to force the opponent to say, hey, look at me instead of the Rainmaker, and it worked. Also just painting for the Rainmaker since it's a lot faster for you two as a Dapple. They have Crab and Rain, or this is in Splat 2. They have Wavebreaker. Hold your special, do not die with it. Good picks. Honestly, as Dapple Nouveau, you can die with your special. It doesn't matter because it's just a Reef Slider. Oh, dying as Inksuka is unfortunate. You're moving in without paint. If you got that pick, the game was over, yes. But they don't have to push it that far. B, why are you in mid? Okay. Really, just you can stay on plat. Actually, I'll just say that. Hey, what was the question you asked? No. That's okay. That's why I heard my name.
I was like, you responded really quickly. You heard your name.
Yeah. So a couple things there. I like that Dapple painted for the Rainmaker as he pushed the last time. And then like started taking an engagement to say, "Hey, opponent, look at me instead of Rainmaker." That was really good. I think you all kind of tunnel vision the person behind Rainmaker when honestly, like, if you had the brush moving up and then like the Dapple moving up on the right side and then someone else with Rainmaker behind, they could just move up with Rainmaker as the shot dealt with the Dapple or just anyone to pressure them to stay back. They don't have the range to deal with the Rainmaker until they get onto it. And so I think two of you getting on it was fine. You got the 2v1, but it made you lose a lot of momentum and you still tried to push it. Like you had the BO bomb out, which created a lot of space, but then you hyper focused the Dapple. And then that sort of killed your push after you got the checkpoint. Also, if you in overtime like that, I would just recommend staying on your side, like your plat, and spamming bombs. You do not need to take risks. Especially with Whale, with the Inkzuka. You can wait until they get into that like ramp, because that's very easy to shoot with. A lot easier than mid. And they have to go through there, or through mid jump, which is even easier to hit. They have to go through there before they can take your lead. So I think y'all just got a bit panicked that they had Rainmaker and were slowly pushing to mid. I saw the brush like drop down into mid after they had Whale and they died to Rainmaker, or like to people defending it. And I guess like I understand if you get the pick, the game's over, but at the same time, you don't need to be the one to get that pick. You just need to make space and stall them out until they're forced to move in because they don't have time, and then punish them for overextending with your specials. So I guess just patience there. And then I saw a couple of times where it happened with each of you. Well, first, I think your 2v1ing is pretty good against this team. It's just you sometimes lose it because of mechanics like aim. And then the last thing is make sure you have paint around you or like a teammate sort of in your position before you take a fight. I just saw a couple of times where you died when you were close to special, or like you were trying to take space and move up a lot further than mid when you still didn't have paint on like the left side of mid. And so just keep that in mind to like get paint around. I think you were all pretty short range, so you could have gotten a lot more space. I guess like brush paint's decently, but you going up alone is probably the easiest of any weapon because your mobility makes it so that you don't die nearly as you don't die to as much since you can just walk out of it. Dapple sort of doesn't want to paint all that much because it wants to shark around. But yeah, so I think be taking a bit more of a painty role with a brush and Dapple on your team especially might be useful. And then
That is something I should have done more.
yeah, I guess that's the main thing that I noticed. Just yeah. Also, Dapple, whoever you played them, just know that you can if you have like the jump on someone, using your dodge roll makes it so you don't have to rely on your weapon RNG being good, which it won't be. You're a Dapple. So just keep that in mind. I saw a couple of times where you sort of had the spacing on the splash to kill it, and then the RNG just kind of said, "Aha, no you." So keep that in mind. But yeah,
Turret mode has better accuracy.
yep, better accuracy and like twice as much of the fire rate as like, well, not twice. It's like the same fire rate technically, but like the accuracy makes it a lot better. Really? Huh.
Yeah, it has more fire.
Yeah, I think it does actually, like slightly.
Okay. Okay.
I only know that from testing it for salmon.
It doesn't have double, but it doesn't. It definitely has increased fire.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Tunnel visioning a lot too. And especially at the end, I definitely started to panic. I like felt my heart rate increase when we got that lead at the end.
I mean, honestly, with Rainmaker, that happens to me all the time. Especially like in tournament. But yeah. I think you all did pretty well, so keep it up.
I'm just gonna check for my last message in the chat, see if we're ready for next.
Clamsy Tail, this is get a crab on their bridge stage. I don't know if they'll actually have a splash, but if they do, get the crab on their bridge and you win the game.
Alright, next is Clam Blitz on Eel Tail.
Oh boy.
Okay, let's talk about what we want to do for that. So I definitely what's it called? I play Splash for this. I'm probably going to forego Ninja Squid here for the speed since it's not as useful. Hello.
You sub me in for Yachty?
Yes.
Thank you.
Sorry. For Yahoo spectating. Oh, sound good?
Yeah.
Oh, they left. Sorry. I didn't look. I gotta take a deep breath so I don't tunnel vision. That always happens to me, especially after I talk a lot from the practice or whatever. My brain is just like, okay, go, go, go.
You're good. Best have some water as well, so brain doesn't
Stay
crash.
hydrated.
Have a milkshake.
Ooh, I kind of want to go. Ooh, I don't know if I should go charger for this because Eel Tail is pretty small. Very
Yeah, and
yeah.
You have to remember on Clan Blitz it does have the platforms in mid. Or the stage in mid we're at her.
The little box, yeah.
It's still pretty So
this is definitely a good map for crab tank. I mean, a lot of them are, but there are definitely some really good spots that I like to crab tank on.
I think I might go for the same weapon then.
Yeah, if you get a crab on their bridge, then a push goes from good to great, usually.
Oh, yeah, that bridge spot is
Actually, I think I'm gonna go Flings in.
Okay.
Mira, you're going Zinni?
Zinni has, what is it?
It's a toxic bubble.
Toxic bubble. The bubbles will be really good for defending on a push.
Yeah, especially for defending and offending because it is a small map, so not a lot of space, so you can use bubbler for a lot of situations.
Yeah, it's also a map where I feel like once you get the basket open, and once they start picking us off, it's really easy for them to just kind of shut it down, and then you don't get as much out of it. So I feel like the bubble could be really good for that, in addition to the crab tank.
We also have 20 seconds left.
Yes. I feel like this could be good though.
Yeah, looks good to me. I think.
So
gotta keep everything painted for raid.
Yeah, I'm gonna focus a lot on, especially if I'm gonna be kind of going for crabs here. I'm gonna be kind of trying to focus a little more on tunnel vision.
Okay, aside from aside from Splash being really good here, Leader is also good here. So if I see them going that, or Charger, yeah,
They also do
okay.
This
Yeah, they have a lot of paint, but there's a lot of pressure on the Splash to be aggressive because their Flings is going to be passive and painting. Their Mini is passive and painting. Okay, good pressure on the Charger. Just, you don't have anyone watching right side. Yeah, you didn't have anyone watching right side of mid, so sort of where, let's see. Sort of where the CDS is right now. And if you don't have anyone watching that, then they can just sort of go in from there. That was an early crab, or I think it could have been on the top right behind, just so the Charger wouldn't be above you. Or like anyone would be able to shoot from above, since that's a place where crab can be vulnerable. B is moving in without paint, dies. Good positioning, Rage. Good positioning, who are you? Narrow, yeah. Okay, I think the slowly getting paint here is good. Rage going back here is a bit...
Oh no, that's that might be it.
Yeah, I think it's just like... Yeah, Rage's flanks took a lot of time there.
I was unlucky.
Uh,
I think I focused too much on paint for him.
couple things there. One, in mid, after brush goes down to charger, as a brush, make sure you know where the charger is. But also, none of you were watching right side of mid, and so they just sort of flanked you all from there. On Eeltail, before you start trying to climb up to the bridge, I saw someone doing that and then dying because of right side. Just make sure you have control of bottom left, bottom right. And you can still pressure with like bombs with most weapon, like with your many or flings' range. You can pressure bridge just from like throwing your main weapon or sub up there to the charger. So that was how you lost neutral. And then after that, I think B, you panicked a little and you used crab as soon as they started pushing in. The problem is they were above you when you crabbed. That's sort of an unfortunate spot to crab because the charger was able to pick you because they were above you. Most other things could just be above you or like flank you from there. Do you know if like after you get out of spawn, the top right,
Yeah,
before you drop?
I had realized that after I did it because I was originally thinking like I kind of want to get to the bridge first to craft, and I was like they're too far forward, so that would be a good spot for it. And it was after I popped out, I was like I should have gone to that spot on top right.
Yeah, I think the main thing is just you all have time, when they're pushing to get specials and such, before they like actually get clams in, because they need to wait for more to spawn. And so you don't need to drop or take fights as soon as you respawn. I do like the positioning from especially Narrow and Rage. I saw the flings and many respectively. Wait, not respectively. I don't know. Just staying in elevated positions to charge special. I think mostly just Flingza, you flanked left side when they were still pushing through mid, which you sort of abandoned. Just make sure like, especially if you have missiles, that can be huge to just push them out and force them to back up. So they can also see where you are with the missiles. So it's usually not worth it to flank as Flingza, just so that you can get paint up front. So your like your shot, your dapple can get space. Well, your shot, your brush. Sorry, wrong comp. I guess the main other thing is just okay, you're just coming from.
Oh sorry, I'm just changing teams.
Yeah, 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 of course. So Eeltail is one of those maps where if they get control of your bridge, that is an elevated position, and so it can be very hard to get them out of that. Crab can be huge for pushing them out of that area. So can missiles. And then as far as brush goes, it's kind of hard to get positioning on them. Just sort of waiting until they overextend and then punishing that. Usually they overextend for like...
After they moved up that far, I was having a lot of trouble like getting my bearings, even finding a place to wait.
Yeah, I guess top left might be okay. I'm not sure how safe that is because I haven't seen many brushes play on that map. Aside from that, charging whale can be huge because that's another thing that can displace people that outrange you. And then maybe like dropping down on right, and if they don't see you, then going through mid, like the right flank. But that does take a little bit of time, so the main thing is just as brush, it might just be good to wait for your teammates crab from top because that pressures bridge. And until someone's pressuring bridge, you can't really do that because you don't have the range. So yeah. I guess crab is huge for getting out of that map. Other specials like missile and whale are really helpful too. Just even if you win a 1v1, if they're pushing, they still can push. If you win a 1v1 and get like a special, or like have a special to win a 1v1 with, then the special is also pushing everyone else back, and so generally that can be a lot more valuable. But if you have multiple specials, then that's just a dead push on their end. So dying with special is a lot worse in disadvantage than winning a fight, like winning a 1v1 and then being pushed back again. So overall, that was just a quick push from them after they won neutral, and y'all couldn't really get your bearings, unfortunately. So not much else to say about it.
Definitely panicked a lot too.
Yeah.
Okay. Much appreciated again. Thank you for the analysis.
Of course, of course.
I'm gonna try and be more conscious of that high ground, especially if I have my special.
Yeah, I'm just definitely gonna try to not get picked first because that was really rough. I think I tried to call it out because I was too quiet amongst everything else that nobody heard that the charger was on bridge, but it probably wasn't a good place to go to begin with.
Do we want to start? Oh, let me check if we're ready. Do we want to start Flat Zone's Flounder Heights?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm probably gonna go Tenta Tech Spider Shot for this. For that I feel like Ink Strike is pretty good on this map for this mode, as well as those splat bombs. How do you guys feel?
Going Explo.
Okay. I like Explo on this map. That's good.
I think you'll probably find more with Explo than you will with Leader here, but I actually haven't seen any Explo gameplay here, so I don't know how it'll go.
Maybe Swiffer or like a Charger.
I would like Swiffer because I feel like you can, like especially people building up the sides of things, and you can pick them off.
If
I'm
you
gonna
prefer
have
to
a
go
little bit of issue with painting, but
yeah.
Just as a random thing, I don't think you meant Charger or like E-Leader with Explo, but please don't run that.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I don't know if like a Charger aside from Swiffer would be a good.
Yeah, like
Especially for this
Squiff
meta.
is aggro enough, but not two backlines. That usually doesn't end well, especially since they have a crab and missiles.
Alright, then I mean Bubbler would be really good to Splat Zone.
Yeah. If that's what you're most comfortable playing, then I want you to bubble
I
like
think
that.
it would work.
Okay. All right, let's do
I
that.
can do.
What's that?
I was thinking of I could always switch to Hydra instead, just to like have a bit more painting power in our team.
I do like the Booyah Bomb for that. I don't know. What would you rather play?
That's a good question.
I honestly like the Explosher with what we have, but the Hydra can also be good to cover up for like the fact that like both Explosher and Swiffer have those like in between times. I feel like the Hydra could make up for the fire rate difference, but the Hydra's also gonna have if they cap zone and then move up, I feel like the Hydra's gonna have a harder time getting us back in. If that makes sense.
I wish the other Splatlings had better kits with those Batman.
Heavy Spotling can be really good. Not on this map, but
I'll just go
I know
between and play sloshing again.
Okay.
I know a decent amount of like
Oh, Sloshing
especially
instead of Explo?
teams from Japan that use heavy, and they get pretty good results.
I'm a little worried about our paint, though. Is the thing, since we have Swift.
I mean, Expo or
Because then I would.
Machine's paint, it's able to paint for itself.
Well, we got 20 seconds, so I don't know. What would you switch to, Rage?
There's not really much I could switch to, but
I say let's just keep it what we have now. Then, sloshing machine is good for this map, but I think with like what we play as individuals and what we have at the moment, because like this isn't our full team, so like we can't really switch things around. Like if Toga and Ash were here, we would have more like
Options, yeah.
we would have more options and flexibility because like Toga's really our backline, midline, and Ash is like just can play a lot of different.
Alright,
Okay,
also,
that
flings us.
that echoing is happening because B and Sid's mic are sort of close. Okay, this comp has enough paint. Brush can paint decently well. T-Tech can paint well. Okay, good flank around trench, Sid. Dropping down again is really passive. I guess I can see why you're scared of their range, but if you jump up on them, then they won't. Like that was jumping forward into their range, not great. But if you would like sort of on the bottom right of my screen right now, if someone from the other team went from there into your zone, or like if your brush did that, then there will be enough space for. Well, they wouldn't be looking in that direction, so they'd have to change, and then you'd have to jump on them and be in their range. So. What do you do with it, crab? Oh, unfortunate, but I wouldn't have expected it either. Decent whale. You're looking down when they have paint up front. That was a bit unsafe because there was someone there, I'm pretty sure. Like there was the. Oh wait, there wasn't, but there could have been. So you're still looking down again. Okay, what are you doing with this tri-strike? As in, okay. You use tri-strike, and then you look at the flank. Because you look at the flank, you can't make any space with what the tri-strike generated. Your teammates did somewhat, but just keep that in mind. You're playing further back than the Explo right now, and I think that's more of a problem with this Swift. I think that was just situationally you backed up because you were damaged, so forget what I said. You're not even looking at right. That's a common place for people to climb up. Especially since they crabbed right once. It was very likely they just crabbed right again. Good call. Good, decent trade overall. This positioning is just a little unsafe for an Explo. Go. The storm might have been better on left zone so that it would pressure them out of left zone. Decent triple, just, yeah. Y'all heard the Flingza, just responding to it a bit faster. They're going to get specials eventually. Yeah, Flingza missile, but oh yeah, Junior can paint. Yeah, they had specials. Okay. The reason you were able to get space there was because of the bubble. You didn't really wait for special, especially since.
Made me die from a bomb.
You're good.
Oh, that was silly of me. I did that.
specials are huge to push back in. I like the rain. I guess just call it out when you're using rain. And say like which space you want to generate with it. So like, by throwing it on right zone, it's going to force them to either back up further on right zone, or it's going to put them onto left zone. And so knowing that, having a team collapse with that might be helpful, or even just throwing it on left zone so they're forced to move back as other specials force them out of right zone. I didn't really see any specials other than that though, and so good triple with T-Tech, but it's really just a Flingza sort of was able to get a flank and then not really able to respond to the call out in time for the Squiff. And then the thing with fighting the Flingza there is if you win, you wipe them. But if you lose, you wipe. So I personally would have just sort of sharked around it and then waited. Because even if they take zone there, then the jumps will be easy picks. And the Flingza might like forget about me. Or best case scenario, it was... Yeah, I think it was honestly trying to back up into right zone. And so you, like, maybe just sharking around there might have been good. Because they were just focused on the Squiffer, they didn't know where you were. And that can be very valuable. Aside from that, when pushing back in the last time, I saw a lot of you were just close to special, and you sort of moved in too early. Without the special, and they had Wave Breaker and Missiles up from the Flingza that stayed alive, and the Junior painting as soon as they respawn. So, sort of unfortunate overall, but I guess as far as in the future rather, just waiting for specials, and not like, I guess, getting safe paint or defensive paint until then. So like, just making sure you stay alive. You don't need to finish every fight that you start as well. You can sort of just throw a bomb or like fire a few shots and then back up out of their range. Because if they move closer to you, you have teammates around you that can punish them. But if you move up to finish the engagement, then you don't really have any support with that. Or you don't have as much support unless your teammate moves up with you. So yeah, I'd say especially at the start, just playing safely is huge. On this map, there's the big overlook on the left after the first checkpoint. That can be a good defensive stronghold. And then after that, just like out of spawn before you drop into your street. Just main thing is just making sure like court can be pretty unsafe, especially as they're trying to push in. So be wary of that and make sure that if you're pushing in through there, you have specials to back it up. Because if you don't, they can easily collapse on you from snipe and left and right. So yeah.
Thank you. How's everybody else feeling? How are y'all feeling?
Iffy, but
Okay.
good.
Feeling like I wish I did better.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay.
It happens.
Last time we scrimmed them, we won like I think they only won once, and we won like the other 4 or 5 times. So it's okay. They also have like new players on that they've in the past week too. So, and we're also like down from our usual comp. We don't usually all run this kind of team for like every mode. So we're also like kind of working with what we got right now. Ash said that they're not available
Definitely agree with B.
Hard on yourself. Try.
Yes, Captain.
Very good, very good.
Yes, Captain, my
Oh
Captain.
god.
Alright, fuck that Hydra up.
Yeah.
Ooh. All of you match the splash's range except for the tri-stringer. Honestly, Brush and Dapple is just very difficult to work around because you're outranged by most weapons. Good pick. You need paint there. Oh, Rage, if you would have waited a single, like, second there, then you would have had Sid with you. Honestly, it's... Okay, Sid's positioning now is fine, but I think at the very start of the game, they were back here a lot, and I think with Brush, you're not really able to poke from there, so it was very passive. So I think your team thought that you were one up when in reality there was nothing. Okay. Optimal crabs, optimal crabs. Okay, call out when you're flanking, call out when you're flanking, call out when you're flanking. Unfortunate splash pick there. Oh, when you took tower there, that shows everyone where your positioning is. The juniors stopped looking at you, but if they didn't, then they would have been able to pick you there. Because they could see, they're on tower. They must have climbed up from that wall. But you need a little more paint before you drop. That positioning, you cannot get out of outside of, like, climbing that wall. So it can be, like, a sort of death zone. So just watch out for that. They have a crab out. Good pick, but just, the paint around you was never really... I think it's just, if you painted and then moved up at the very start when I said all of that, it would have been a lot more safe. Good crab here. Your stringer's on tower. Said you can push up. Good. Why is Nero not on tower because of the flank? I guess I can see why, but... Oh wait, they're all going that way. Wow, they all went that way. Well, good on showing them why they shouldn't do that. Yeah, Tactical can do that. It's unfortunate. Okay, good points. That's not worth it. Especially with they have a way breakout, so just respect it. And now a crab, just respect it, respect it, respect it, respect it. You didn't respect the crab, and so you died to it. Good call. If they're going to crab, you hear your teammates going to crab from left, or from perch. You don't need to push up until they have the crab out, because then, like, okay, there are two phases of this. Phase 1. Okay, phase 1, B backs up. When B backs, you don't have any players around, or like you don't have the splash around you to get paint, to get control. So it's less safe to be around there. Phase 2, B crabs. Now you have a lot more space because you have a backline, a Hydra turret mode. You're alone there. You're alone without paint. Actually, your teammates are flanking. Never mind. Good collapse. Okay, they have a crab up. That's very unsafe because you're surrounded by enemy Ink B. Good that you got them, but if anyone was respawning and saw you, like the Hydra, if they were there a second earlier, then they would have picked you off from that. A fantastic crab. This is so good. This is so good. Good trade. It keeps our momentum up. You have whale up. Hold forward and let the tri-stringer take tower. Okay, I think Splash Brush Dooley. You're all. I think you're all under the. I think you're all. That. Call out when you jump to beacon. Call out when you do this. Call out. Because B's making a good call with what they know. Like, with what they know, like, you're all backed up. They didn't know they were going to jump to the beacon twice. um, and so,
I snuck on it. I snuck on it.
Rage, when you're going to jump to a beacon like that twice, please call it out. I think B was calling out stay passive because they didn't know that you were going to be flanking them. I think the pick on the Hydra was good. Call that out and then push up and say, I'm flanking them, I got one, take perch and let's collapse on them. So then it's not just you going in alone from a different angle. It's you going in from one side and then your team pincing them from the other side. I think good game overall. Your pushes were really good. I think as far as like everyone but the tri-stringer, I think you've learned a bit too much from solo queue and feel like you need to be taking tower because none of your teammates take tower. The problem with taking it on this comp is the splash out range is all of you. And so I think having like all of you push up forward while the tri-stringer takes tower is what you want in most situations. When they had like 3 people going in left, I think the tri-stringer backing up was fair. But especially when Sid popped whale, move up with a whale, have B move up with a whale as well, so then you can start making space in front of tower, so it's safe for the tri-stringer to sit on tower. If it's not safe for the tri-stringer to sit on tower, generally it's not a safe push. I hope all that makes sense.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Something I do want to mention on the call out thing, like I know I've said this before, but to everyone, like don't be afraid to like again like rage, like don't be afraid to call out like a plan of action if you can identify something that is good or like you're getting a pick that maybe we didn't see like on that Hydra. Like we all have equal say on this game here, and
Yeah, and I guess
there
like
are still cracks in the call outs, but like don't be afraid to be like push now or something.
Sorry. That's
All good.
you're okay. I guess like
All good.
with Dapple, when you flank that, like saying I'm flanking them or like I'm jumping to a beacon on their side and flanking them from that, and then saying I got Hydra, I'm flanking them in the mid. Like I guess with B's call, everyone's going to be backed up. If that call isn't like challenged by you, everyone's going to be backed up, and you're going to be going up alone. Because it was a decent call knowing what B did, thinking that everyone was just respawning, not knowing that like you had jumped to the beacon. I think it's a fair, like they didn't see the beacon and you got a pick from it, so it was good. It's just when a team makes 2 different decisions, that's usually when team plans fall apart. Because like if the entire team is able to push, but half the team pushes and half the team doesn't, then it's a 2v4. And then it's another 2v4 once they lose the fight. I hope that makes sense. Yeah.
It was a really good flank though.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't see the beacon, but kudos.
Yeah, I was surprised too. I was surprised they didn't see it. It was like 4 of them.
Yeah. Another thing from that like that stupid cool like call out video we had watched, the one where it's like watch, ignore, and push or whatever. Something to think about for like when we're calling for 2 different things, like the urgency of it. Remember like like how many times something's urgent. Like you like when you got hit on the Hydra and it was a good opportunity to push, like call that out, like repeat it 3 times that we know it's urgent. Because like my call to play defensively was not urgent. It was more just like time.
And it's also like when you get a pick on the Hydra, that's why you're playing passively. Like you're playing passively so that you don't get deleted by the backline or deleted by like any specials they have. But if you're flanking the crab, then that's huge. If you're flanking the Hydra, that's huge. And your team can wait until you're ready to collapse on them. Another thing, I think at the start of the game, Sid, you were playing around like I think you wanted to move up on left block, but you were a bit too scared of their range, and so you backed up a bit. Is that right? I think the main thing with that is Brush can't really help out with any fights there. I guess partly teammate awareness. If you would have seen that like Rage was moving up his Dapple through Spinner, you could have helped with that. But I think generally just like going on right side and just throwing bombs, staying passive for a little bit. It's a safe plan. Safe plans aren't necessarily bad. They're slower, yeah, and you don't get any like you would have your teammates around so that like it's less likely for them to just rush you or be able to outrange you because you can back up into your teammates' range, like your tri-stringer. But like taking the spinner side of Sturgeon can be really helpful, because that's like a way for you to get into left side without having to climb up that wall, which can be telegraphed. Aside from that, just like you can start a fight without actually like trying to get the last few shots. If you're like if you want to collapse on someone, especially as Dappler Brush, you need to do so quickly. So sort of just like slowly approaching them shows them where you are, and they're able to punish that because the Splash and Forge outrange you. But if you have someone like a B, like especially, just sort of playing to their range, and then you're able to capitalize on them focusing on B on not you, then that can be big. I guess just like playing together is the main thing. So I think if you see someone that you want to like fight, sometimes saying let's get this Forge or let's rush the Splash can be useful, or like let's rush left, or like saying like B, can you get pain on left, stuff like that. Like sort of actionable callouts instead of just the opponent's on right, because that gives you information, but everyone's going to take that information and do different things with it. Like the backline will be watching right a bit more. B will be either like sharking it or already focused on left. So like things like I need help or I want to push this area can be really good for or like especially if you're skirmishing someone and they're looking at you, and then like a teammate can capitalize on it. That can be a good call. I know I've just said a lot, so if there's
I'm absorbing.
okay,
Yeah, thank you for saying things.
okay,
I really need this stuff. I really need to work on.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, no, me too. Like, I think teammate awareness is one of the biggest things I need to work on because I'm so far up front that, like, I can't, like, when I used to play E-Leader, I could just look at everything, but now I kind of have to really, like, look and remember and listen to where everyone is and, like, paint a mental picture because it's not gonna, like, it's not like I can look and see, but I still need to plan on my teammates' movements.
I think those are some of our biggest like roadblocks we've had as well, like with our practices and scrims, is like
Oh,
actionable call outs
also
and that teammate awareness.
there was one huge thing I wanted to bring up. So I remember B saying I'm going to back up to our perch and crab, and then before they got the crab out, I think Sid and Rage took fights and they lost the fight. The main thing with that is there are two phases to B saying that. One, they get to perch. Splash cannot pressure when it's backing up and going up that snipe. So generally, like, even though you're not one down, in practice you don't have the pain of a splash or like the bombs or the pressure, so it's less safe to move up. You can still, like, by all means, they don't know that the splash isn't there to help, so you can stay in the positions you're in. But staying in the positions you're in to passively do things and then actively going in are two very different things. Phase 2 was the crab being out. If a crab's out, it has like the range of a backline. It controls like huge amount of space, which you can work with. So like with the crab being on perch, you could easily take left side and move up with that, because they're probably going to be displaced by the crab's expo shots or the turret mode. But because you moved in a bit too early for the crab to fully be even started, you weren't really able to capitalize on the special. So I guess not just waiting for your own specials, but waiting for like when your teammate specials become active, or like sort of knowing the range of effect that special has. Like if Sid pops a whale and it's hitting the Flingza, for example, then the Flingza is going to be out of the fights. Or if it still tries to move up, then it's a bit damaged and it has to move for the whale. So then someone else can move in with that Impenser. Just things like that. It doesn't.
Got it.
Yeah, that doesn't have as much like it's not that applicable for like Dapple because you have Tacticular, which is sort of it helps. Or you have Reslider, which is just you'll probably die after using this. But yeah.
Cool.
I think it's mostly a thing with Crab or like Tri-Strike that things that create space. Whale to an extent. But yeah. I hope all that helps somewhat. It's also going to be in the VOD, so
And
okay.
especially like I'm trying to take it in now and then like have that in my mind so I can also when I go and watch like the VOD again, I can then like also take notes and like put it further in my brain and like keep it there.
Yeah, of course. But yeah. Best of luck with Rainmaker Haggle. This is another map where like even if they get the jump, pushes on this map often go to 20 or less. So it's really just about staying patient and having specials to push them out. If you want to go,
This is the map where when we did our first low rank again our very ever first tournament match was against Myopsidus and it was over
They won.
like in an instant.
Yeah, they won second place in the whole tournament in Alpha bracket.
It was our very first.
oh no, that's unfortunate. But
We learned a lot.
yeah.
That we are bad.
No.
Nah.
But like it was rough.
Yeah. If you want to flank on left, say it. Pop on this map is pretty important. But if they're going to get it, you all don't have the range to safely poke at it until it pops. You're not like a Forge. So if they're about to get popped, back up from it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
Oh.
splatter shot with Inksuka for this, and I'm gonna go Ninja Squid and Object Shredder because that pop is pretty unfortunate.
Also, one big thing. If you go like 1 down or especially 2 down, it's okay to back up or like just sort of shark and defensively paint and spam bombs. The main thing is just like if you keep taking fights after that, then if you get a pick, then it's a 3v3. You still can't really push that. But if you lose that fight, then it's a 2v4 or 1v4, and then it suddenly becomes their push because they're charging specials from the pop they get.
Cascade and then
Yep.
stagger us.
Yeah, that's sort of like the snowball effect, because not only are they getting picks, they're getting paint around them. And so while you are respawning with half your special, they have their crab, they have their... I forget what other specials are in the game, I'm sorry. They have their missiles, they have their Brio Bomb. And so they're able to create a lot more space with that, and then suddenly it's a huge push that gets them past the checkpoint and past the game. So, specials are huge for turning the tide. They're also huge for just like getting past neutral when it's sort of a stalemate. So you don't necessarily need to like take a fight as soon as you see someone, unless of course it's a fight you know you can win. Until then, feel free to like spam bombs or just like paint around or just swim to a different area. Yeah, it's the main things I wanted to say, and best of luck.
Thank you.
Alright, so I'm gonna go splatter shot, Ninja Squid, and Object Shredder for this. Sid, one thing I want to mention for this map because like you have to get so close in order to really.
I'm not gonna even get close to that thing. I'm just gonna paint for special.
Just don't throw a splat bomb in the beginning and just like stay out of range and like if it looks like we're gonna pop it really fast or they're gonna pop it really fast, then like yeah, paint for wave breakers will be really annoying, especially for someone if they have like Rainmaker. So I think that could work. I like that. Yeah, let's do it. All right. Yeah. Especially like we have like 2 splat bombs now, a torpedo and a suction bomb, 2 wave breakers, a killer whale, and an Inkzuka. I like that. I can use the Inkzuka for range. So Rage, remember, since you have the most range here, you are usually going to be probably the best tanker. But also, like, I feel like you and Nero are going to be kind of swapped. I can also kind of. A lot of us have a lot of different versatility here, though.
They're using
Okay,
Raid
so they
too.
don't. They do not have as many lethal bombs as us. So let's get in there and throw a lethal bomb, and then we'll shoot.
I like this plan.
Okay. Good pop. Good pick.
Let me
Don't
read
overextend with this, though.
real quick.
Good space. Good space. Good fallback. B. You're still a bit damaged.
Alright, we can push up on them a little bit here.
I got
Good call.
Your wave breakers down.
I get it.
Ah, just a bit too chipped from that.
Left.
Grabbing Rainmaker here,
Left.
I don't know if I agree with this, just because like you're having to move it back closer to your own checkpoint, by the way. And you didn't have enough picks to actually push. Okay. I don't know if falling there was intentional, but I prefer it
Okay, they got crowd.
because it's a lot harder for them to make that jump.
I almost have Inkzuka ready.
Sid, you're alone there. Unfortunately.
It's okay, it's okay.
I'm gonna throw a wave breaker just to
Yeah,
get
be
them.
careful being a little defensively here. Now, watch your back so you don't careful.
Really good goals here. Main thing is Narrow and Rage are a bit separated. I think it's mostly
They camped on our side. I'm just gonna.
yeah.
Just hold. Let
Good jump. I think you didn't need to wait for the crab to jump out there. I think just jumping to a teammate would have been good.
They're flanking from right.
But yep, that's why jumping to that spot was good because they had to make that jump back
Got two.
or back up. Good picks. Narrow, you can paint a bit more behind you. Like there's all this space that you didn't get. There's all this paint on left as well. B should not be grabbing this comp. It should be Narrow with Junior or maybe Rage with CDS. That's mid, not right. Also, yeah. It was more of an off angle, and they were backed up enough so that they just had to like turn around a little bit and then see that you were alone. Unfortunate crab death. Oh, okay, good Inkzuka. Good weight. You have Inkzuka and wave breakup. You have a lot of space you can take with this.
Killing whale.
Good call.
I'm gonna flank around
Jumping
someone.
in.
Oh, never mind. Do not flank left. They know we're here.
I think we just need to get control mid right now.
Okay.
I have special ready.
Okay.
Yep.
So do I.
No one saw left.
They got me.
Say it again. If something like that happens, you feel free to say the call out again of like one right, one right, one right. Everyone else saw it, but if they didn't, then it could have been a wipe. You're alone, Narrow. Okay, good jump. Good whales. Rage, you didn't need to drop down there, but you got the pick, so nice. But if someone's there, then they have to, they're sort of stuck, and you have the range with the CDS to actually punish them. Generally, pushing left on this map is it's a lot harder than pushing through mid.
A little bit earlier, I could have No worries.
One side.
Nice. Alright, so folks get out. They're coming up mid.
Good double blast. Okay. Good wipe, good space. No, you have whale, you have specials. You can take a bit more space. Good pick, Sid.
Let me pump
Did you back up, Sid? You... Okay. Y'all got a wipe, and you got 2 more with whale. You could have moved up on left and then flanked the splash. Unfortunately, you didn't. You just backed up after getting checked. That could have been bigger. That said, good wipe. Good, yeah, good wipe. You're a bit too forward here. Yeah, you could have backed up left. They had to get checkpoint, so you didn't need to move right. Might be a map-specific thing, though. But, like, this is a good position. And then they move up.
Excellent. Good stuff. Very good stuff, guys.
Really good wipe, good checkpoint. The main thing is, like, taking space after that was huge. You didn't need to, like... You don't necessarily need to, like, wait or, like, back up after getting that. Because you got a wipe. You had specials. Like, Sid got a whale, and then popped it and got 2. And then Sid backed up when it was a 4v2 advantage. And, like, I think you could have flanked around left and then got someone that was sort of sitting there. And then you could have pushed Rainmaker even further. That said, really good checkpoint. I guess just, if you get a wipe like that, you can take it all the way. I think the main thing about that might be the comp that you're running. Like, you have a junior that's pretty passive. You have a Squelchers, which is a support. It's essentially a support weapon, with, like, being able to draw aggression away from other teammates. But unlike Tetras, it doesn't exactly try to finish fights. It tries to stay alive with it. But it still, like, isn't all that aggressive. It's sort of just like, hey, look at me. I'm backed up now. Good luck. And then like, Brush is aggressive, but it's more of a skirmish or a flanker weapon. It's not something that can, like, push the front lines like a Splash-O-Matic. And so essentially it's saying, like, if B goes down, then you have a weapon that sort of flanks, which, if they see where you are, which on Hagglefish they're going to see you, it's a straight line, then you have everyone that outranges you on the Brush, or on the Junior, which is also outranged, and not like a direct aggressing weapon. Or on the CDS, which, like, sort of just has to wait until the splash can be there to really be aggressive. So I think with this comp, it's sort of like putting a lot of pressure on B to be aggressive. Like, yeah, you don't have any backlines, but it's sort of like a triple support comp with Brush, Junior, and CDS. I think a similar problem is sort of there with Dapple, where it shares a role with Brush in being a flanking weapon. How do you feel about splat dualies? Yeah.
Never really been interested in it because it's special, but I think give it a shot.
Okay, I think that.
Yeah, but I mean,
Another
crab tank
crit.
is a bit. Look, look, crab tank just isn't my style, but I haven't. I've just been. I'll try it.
I think
I'm still, like, pretty
I did not like crab tank at first until I really, like, practiced it a lot, and now I
Yeah, I guess just the main thing is, like, having something that can, like, be a frontline, like dualies, instead of a sort of flanking frontline like Dapple, might be really helpful, just to get a bit more space and aggression up front, while the Brush is able to flank, the Junior's able to get, like, paint around. Yeah, I guess that's the main thing. I think I like your positioning on a, like, glass. B, just to prevent the Remaker from moving up. It's what won you the game. Just make sure, like, if they have a crab, to watch out for that, or missiles, because you can't paint that area. And so it can be, like, unsafe to, like, you won't be able to back up as easily. or even if Rainmaker just starts shooting you there, then it can be very unsafe. I guess finally with the junior player, I saw a couple of times where like you tried to move to the side and you sort of got stuck there. Especially near the end of the game. They had to like take checkpoint before they got lead. So I think you backing up on left would have been completely valid. There were of course a couple of moments where I just saw a bit of paint where like you moved up before painting. I think Junior's a weapon that paints fast enough so that you can get paint before moving up and it doesn't affect that much. Cause like you can also throw a torpedo to stall the opponent before you get paint. I guess the last thing is like you noticed like left side was sort of, if they push you there then you're kind of stuck.
Yeah.
I think Junior being in like mid or maybe right side can work pretty well on that map. Pushing up through mid is generally safer than pushing it left because it's just a long corridor that anything like a crab can just set up there, chill, and just lob bullets at you, and you can't really do anything but wait. And so, yeah, I guess like pushing left is a default unless no one is watching left, which usually won't happen. But yeah, good work overall. I think you capitalize on the wipe pretty well. Just make sure you don't like back up if you don't need to. You can like hold a position aggressively and like slowly push while not actually like giving up that space. And while also not like being so unsafe that you get 2v1'd. But yeah.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Okay, I thought they were saying that they needed a break, but they were swapping out a player. Looks like I messaged them back. I think one of their I think one of their members got a little demoralized from that tower control match
Oh,
where
okay.
I like
Oh no.
because they were right there. They had like gotten off for a second, and I like pushed in on that to end the game. So I just want to make sure that they're okay.
Yeah.
I like this. These scrim partners, like they're really nice. Again, the whole reason like we're close with them is because Ink Sanity was originally someone we were gonna take on the team, and then they had accepted someone on that one team, Cephalocorpse, that like just kicked everyone off like out of nowhere. They offered like them a spot first, so they took that, and then that whole thing just got randomly dissolved. And so the members from that formed Reefresh, so like that's where we're at with them now. So like we've kind of just been talking with them for a long time, for like a while now, especially because like we kind of both formed at the same time. Well, I guess
Yeah,
not
pretty much.
Refresh, but like Cephalo.
Right. Like their teamwork kind of has been building with our teamwork, so they're
Yeah.
like, yeah.
But yeah, so I just want to make sure they're okay before we get into it real
Yeah,
quick.
of course. They have enough members with them that they can just sub someone in. Oh, I guess someone lost internet, but you know.
play whatchamacallit? 92. No, it's 52.
If you want to, it's just I've noticed the splash walls work really well on the clam blitz,
Yeah,
the ramp going up.
there's 3 spots they can push. There's 3 chokes they can push from over here. They have that one ramp which is on the floor. They have the ink rail right next to the ramp, where they can go around, and then they also have just that like kind of center mid like little hop up block. So there's a lot of different spots to kind of defend here, but generally the ink rail and the ramp are kind of like the same spot for the most part. So it's really just like that center in front of basket and then that right side against.
I just
Okay. Okay.
I just-
I can play this weapon.
I want to say about the right side. There is like a wall you can climb up, so you don't have to deal with the ramp. It's only on Rainmaker where you have to like go up it normally.
Thank you for that reminder. I forgot that there's that little that paintable. Okay.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure Fling does.
I would say splat dualies because Gal doesn't paint very well.
Yeah.
I mean, Flingsa paints really well, but either works.
Yeah, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Ask
I don't-
me to see how well I do with spot dualies.
Okay. Good luck.
I was like tempted to bring the Viper, but I need to like practice that weapon.
I think Echo was gonna say something before we started. I just want to give them an opportunity.
No. I wasn't. Good luck.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now that I'm muted. I don't think you need Splash Wall here. Gallus, of course, it's a good weapon. By all means, if you like playing it, play it.
Careful when you're getting too like close to a spot of ink because I got distracted from talking too much. I got some.
Okay.
Careful getting too close to their ink because of the roll.
Nice, flat wall.
By the way, that entire call out could be condensed into
Carbon by rail.
stay wary of the roller, or watch the roller.
They don't really have enough plans yet, so just
I like the push on right. Okay, you both try to take that in a 2v1. Good start. When the brush went down, rage back up. This comp's a lot different. It's 3 slayers and a brush instead of like 2 supports with a brush and slayer. If you see someone like that rage, you can call them out. What? Ah, okay. Where do you take the turf? Where are you going? B is on right side, but they didn't say where they were going, and so they're alone with this. If they called out take space on right, that could have been a 2v1 and even easier to take out. Because the dualies could have just backed up on right, and then prevented them from taking space. Carbon's just rushing. Yeah, it does carbon things. Yeah, it's just a couple of bombs that are getting in the way. It's probably awareness. If you want to work just on awareness, Salmon Run can be really good. Aside from that, it's just like, Yeah, it's just being wary of like what they have available. So their Inksuka, I wouldn't have noticed that either, honestly. It's just like when they have turf control, if you don't see them currently, then they could be sharking in that ink. One of the biggest things with this map is just being able to, like right there, just being aware of like the stack being very like, being aware of the stack and someone sharking there, being aware that the dually can dodge roll out of it. So there's a lot more space they can take if they are there. That said, good whale, good crab, good push. Just make sure that if you crab, you don't have the ball, because that can happen. You had crab out, and so you had to wait for it to finish. I think the push itself was really good. I don't think it was early. It's just Like, you had to push to 60 if B had, like, dropped the ball before crabbing. Which is something that I had to learn as a splash as well. There, look at your teammates. Your teammates are respawning. You were on right stack. And so you were a bit too far up. Okay, let's watch Gal for a bit. There's a little bit of paint that's causing you to not move around as much. And so... this is just chip damage all around. Yeah, you just kind of got rushed down there. As far as, like, dealing with that, wall can help prevent them on left. But the block especially is something important to watch. If they're on top of that, then, yeah, it can be painful. I think also teammates being aware of your rush positioning and making sure, like, they're not exactly surrounded with paint, but, like, they have people sort of on call in case they get rushed. Because usually if they rush a brush, they're going to be unsafe for a little bit doing that. So then even if a brush goes down, you can take advantage. Unfortunate wipe, just like, again, it's like, if one person goes down or two people go down, you try to, like, instead of just backing up and giving them a bit of space, it's like you, yeah. Instead of making space, you just, like...
We're going over Clamblitz, because I noticed that every scrim we have, that is the game mode that we struggle the most with. So we're going over clams.
This is definitely my worst game mode.
I think...
Mostly because I don't play that much.
In all honesty, your push was really good. I think the whale was well timed, the crab was well timed. It's just, after the crab was out, the crab was overlooking all of their plat and no one was really there to pressure it further. And also, just like a practice with crab, throw your ball to like a side where a teammate might be able to grab it before you crab. Because, like, I know you were just a few frames off, but if they were watching your crab harder, then they could have gotten you before you even, like, swam up. And so, like, throwing the ball to a teammate makes it so that they can move up with the space the crab creates, and force them to not wait until the crab's over. Because I think that's what made the push, like, sort of die down. They waited for the crab, waited for the specials, because no one really pushed in with them, and there weren't any clams being thrown in. So there wasn't that much pressuring them to, like, say, okay, we've got to stop this push now. And then there were a couple of moments where, like, if you say you want to, like, get space up front, on Inkblot especially, say which side you're going on, because I know there was one instance where there was an engagement you took. You won it, but it would have been even easier to win, and not just a flat-out 1v1, if you said, I'm going right, because no one was with you, B. When you said, let's get paint up front, or, well, you said, let's get paint, or, like, let's get space. But knowing where to get space, like right stack or left stack, actually, on Inkblot specifically, the stacks are your win condition. And I didn't really see anyone taking them. I saw the opponent taking them all the time, though. Like, they were climbing up them to use them as little vantage points. With Gal, that could be useful. With Splash, with practically everything but Brush. So just taking stacks is, because you never really took them, it let the opponent take them, and then have a lot more of, like, angles they could pressure you from. There were a couple more bomb kills than usual on that map. I think it might be because, like, the clams are another thing to consider. So, with everything like that on the map at one time, just a random bomb being around can sometimes be, like, all it takes for, like, you don't, if you don't see one bomb and you move into it, you're dead. So, like, it's just another thing to consider, as far as awareness goes. Aside from that, I did see that you were taking more 2v1s. As time goes on, you'll get more comfortable with them, and being able to, like, take them as a group and to win them. one main thing I saw was if you try to take a 2v1 or 2v2 and one of you dies, it's not a bad idea to back up. I saw sometimes you try to like force the fight still, and you lost it because of that. And when you lose the fight, not only do you lose special, but in clams you also lose the clams you're holding. So that can be even more punishing. Aside from that, I think I like that comp, but it's definitely a different style than what you were using before. Before you had like 2 supports, a brush, and a slayer. This time you had like 3 slayers and a brush. I think having like a C junior wouldn't have hurt because you were sort of struggling on paint. I don't know if Gal was all that needed. Like, Whale is nice. I guess just like Wall isn't like it's good on Inkblot. It's good on most maps. It's just not something that like you absolutely need to take. So like, you know, use your own judgment there. And also like the more like styles of weapons you play, not only does that make it more styles that you have to play, but more styles that your team has to like work around you playing, and like more comps that are available. So it's a balancing game.
Yeah, because the Gal is something that Nara, I feel like you don't really usually play. I think that's the first time we brought it out in our comps before, and then Rage, I know like you also don't really usually use the splat weapons.
I mean, I've used the Splat Lily a lot in tournaments. I just never use Crab.
Okay.
Okay.
I like the splat dually option.
I really like the Splat Dually option. I don't think you need Gal. I think like Junior Flingza with like B being aggro, the dualies being either dually, which is like aggro, or squelchers, which are like a sort of skirmisher. I think with Squelcher or Dapple, it's a bit harder to have Sid play Brush, just because Brush sort of matches. It's like a combination of the rules that like Squelchers and Dapple provide. Like it's a big burst damage, but it's also like, haha, you can't kill me, nah 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 nah. So I guess like having 2 of those is like the main flaw of Dapple is its range. The main flaw of Brush is its range. And like even though they have good mobility, they have to catch someone off guard. If you have 2 weapons like that, then at any given moment, only one of them is really doing everything that it can. Because the other's just having to like play the board defensive mode. Because if you have 2 people sharking, then that's a 2v4 for everyone else around, and there's not as much paint. That's another thing. But because they have to like, because they sort of skirmish around and don't actually like paint the floor as much, because that reveals their position, you have 2 weapons that, while they technically can paint for themselves, in practice they don't paint enough to paint for other people. And so I guess like the comp of Dapple Brush feels a bit weak to me, just because like you're sort of vying for the same role. I don't want to say like Sid get off a brush or anything like that. I think Dualies works well.
Just need to change something like that.
What is it?
I just need to switch weapon because like I think Dapples just definitely feels off.
I
I
think
get what you mean.
I think Dapples in like a comp without a brush would be good. I just think Dapple plus brush is a bit weak. And to my knowledge, Sid is a one trick on ink brush. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. No need to change that then. I think because you're comfortable with Dually, I would recommend playing that a bit more, just to I think Dually or Squelcher can work well with brush. It's just the range combined with not painting that much that makes Dapple sort of killed with brush. And I think if you have Squelchers, you really want 2 aggro weapons, like a Splash, Shot, Gal, stuff like that. But yeah.
If it's something like that, I can definitely start practicing more with Squelchers or like Dualies. But it's just the main issue is Crab Tank.
Yeah, Crab is a learning curve. Out of curiosity, I forget what Nero plays. I think C Junior. What else?
Nero plays a
mean,
lot of different things.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm pretty flexible. I don't
Narrows are like flexible.
If it helps, if it helps, I don't play chargers. I play a bit of bowler.
Okay. So like
I feel
aggro to mid. I think actually one comp that I could see working is B playing some aggro weapon, Nero playing machine, then Rage on CDS and sit on brush.
Ooh.
Or I think
Okay, I like that.
I think Nero on machine works well. Nero on splash, 2 splashes. It's awful. I hate that it's good, but it's good. So
I played solo queue series earlier today, and it was me and two other splashes, and then like a splat charger, and I was just like, wow, it's the meta.
yeah.
You found the meta.
Meta.
Didn't wait? I use Splat Charger too. Don't we have someone that used to play U leader?
Yeah, we
I
have.
used to play
Toka.
later.
That's Toka who's not here. Sid used to play E leader, yeah.
I need to practice more chargers, but I mostly like split charger with the scope. That's usually what I play. I don't really like E-leader.
Yeah. My only worry about having Sid like pull out the E leader is that just like Sid hasn't played it in a long time, and
I
I
think
feel like the difference of
yeah,
going from
you
a
don't
rush for so long to a shooty aim weapon is very different.
yeah, you don't need a backline to succeed. Or like brush is good. You can definitely make comps around it, but you have to make comps around it. It's not like a splash where you can slap it onto anything. There are things that work well with it, and there are other things that don't. I wouldn't recommend a roller with brush just because like they have the same like sharking mentality at times. Let's see.
I thought about giving arrow spray a try too, because it kind of does the same thing except as a shooter, the way that it has a short range and a
If
broad.
okay, if you're considering playing Aerospray, consider C Junior instead. It just has a kit. Spray does not.
I don't know. I like spamming Booyah Bomb with the cold arrows.
If
Honestly,
you-
Sid, I feel like you would like CJR a lot because
It is a fun
it is very painty kind of support, like, you know, just like spam torpedoes, like paint
Very
draw out wave
lopstick.
breakers.
I'll play
You
it
can go
on my
if
own
you really
time.
want to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because
I'll
I
play
think
it on my own
also
time over the week, and then next practice, I will try to bring it and see what we can do.
yeah.
Okay.
I also don't want you to feel forced to play anything that you're not having fun with. Like I do like it is good for us to think about comps that are working well, and but like also I don't want anyone to be like, I'm not having fun with this. I don't want to do it just because I have to, you know, kind of thing.
yeah, I think C Junior could also work well with Dapple. Just because like you can throw torpedoes that can really help Dapple move in. You can make space for it with painting. Um yeah, I think Dapple plus C Junior and then non-Dapple with Brush work well. It's just Dapple with Brush that feels a bit too broken to me. Broken in like the not broken in the not triple splash machine way.
Yeah, the lack of range and the like kind of not ideal, like both contained but not like ideally as well as it should.
Yeah, they don't play the game to paint is the thing. They have it as an option, but like it's not how you play the weapon optimally. And so I guess like as far as like weapons that pair well with either of them, machine, shooters that are aggro, those are like the meta any meta options that are like slap-ons, so shot, splash, machine. I could see Forge even. Or Squeezer if you want to get arthritis 10 years earlier.
No.
I mean, I'm getting arthritis already.
Let's see. Mini is a decent support option. Or like Zinc Mini specifically.
I like Narrow. I like your Zinc Mini. Sorry, I had to bring that up again.
Wait, what? I feel like I'm missing something with the Zinc Mini.
Sorry, Narrow has like played Zinc Mini for us before in like scrims, and I like it.
They played it in
Okay.
in Low Wing, and that was before Stage
Okay.
You that we won.
Yeah.
To be fair, that was the match against the 12-year-old.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's also
It happens, but I guess
It's
like
not like that dual bubble game as well, where we had just two bubblers.
yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
The Zinni Squelcha,
Swiffer.
Squiffer.
What are we thinking for Splat Zones, Mako Mar? Just because I don't want to keep Refresh waiting for like
Yep.
way too long.
yeah, keep going with the scrum. Okay, hey Zayat, sorry about that. But yeah, so
I think Swiffer.
I think Zinc Mini fills a similar role as Junior, so
As well.
I'm gonna go Splash.
I think
I'm gonna go Ninja Squid. And then another main of I'm gonna go Ninja Squid and like a main of Special Charge Up and Swim Speed Up. So I am gonna play it pretty aggressively and then back up to those perches for
Hmm.
crabs.
yeah, so with Zinc Mini, if you're watching the VOD,
The Zinni here, so I will bring the Zinni.
it sort of has a similar thing to C Junior, so
Rage,
don't bring both.
do you
That can be a
wanna
bit too
do,
passive. You could bring like B playing whatever they usually do. I think that works well.
I didn't Swiffer.
Oh, you're doing Swiffer?
Yeah, I think.
I'm worried about defense actually.
Uh,
Just a little bit. I did
so
like
Zinc
Echo's suggestion of,
aggros work
like,
well with it.
the,
Brush works pretty well with it. So I could see
okay,
Brush
I actually
plus
I like Splat.
like either Splat Dualies or maybe CDS, but
Yeah,
that
not the
that would be a bit passive. So
'cause I like,
just watch that.
I can play aggressive with this. Narrow
Um,
would be a really good like midline here.
We can combine bubbler too, like with the crab tank as well.
and then like
Exactly. So we have double crab and
yeah, Brush aggro.
bubblers.
Then I could actually see Zinc Mini with CDS there. Yeah, it's a bit off key, but
Yeah,
or
I'm gonna
off kilter is what I'm looking for.
aggressively, probably.
But
If
it could
has
definitely work.
CS2.
Okay. I think
Um,
let's try.
yeah.
All right. What's our plan for the beginning here? Who wants to go where? I mean, I guess.
I think I'll stick with you.
Okay.
I would try to flank help right stack, wait till they get up there, and then
I have a feeling
pop
Ian's
up
gonna
behind
bring
them.
Hydra.
Yeah. You Narrow. You and Sid go together because you have toxic mist, and that'll help Sid close in.
Alright, right?
Oh hey,
Stack, wait till
it's the
they're up
comp that I
there,
mentioned.
and-
They can't hear me. I'm muted. That was just a well-timed laugh.
Flank
Uh,
them,
I got it.
call out the carbon. I'm pretty sure you saw that.
Get out of
I
there.
didn't think we
I'm
were
getting
getting
out.
like that.
Yeah.
Cubby's going up right stack.
Watch left snap.
moving, killer railing,
They're crabbing on our stack.
gotta pick with whale.
Okay, I'm just gonna kind of play passively here. I have crab ready. Alright, roll carbon down. Yep. Okay, I'm gonna crab on our stack.
Okay, you have crab out. That's a lot of space is being made.
I
Oh,
got
that's unfortunate. You have crab out. Rage, why are you backed up on right? I think Rage being backed up there made it so Sid couldn't move up, and then no one could move up, and then they could push in with their specials. Okay. Good callouts of just let's get back together. Try to keep like self-deprecating comments to yourself. I get it. I've been there. I still do it sometimes, but it really just doesn't help. Not only does it like not give any new information about the game, but like it can bring down morale, and that can be huge. Like mentality is big in tournaments, especially, but even just scrims. Like if you're focused on like I'm playing bad, you're not thinking of oh I could have like stayed back instead of moving up there, or like oh I should have realized the missiles made it so I needed to move back earlier. Or just oh that was unfortunate. So it makes it so you're focusing on how you're playing instead of how the game is going and what you need to do to play better. Good double. Good crab. Good crab. Good positioning there, Rage, to go up with it. Fantastic 2v1. Great retake.
I got one flanking around left.
So, call out if there's a splash on left. There's going to be a crab there, yep. You're a missile? They see you because the missile. Okay. Like, yes, you have ninja, but you can't get behind the crab there. And they're not pressuring zone at all. So you can really just stay on right side and chill. I don't think you need to go over there on left to challenge at B, especially since you were missiled. Just give them space. They're using 2 specials. Don't give them a pick from that. Just give them a little bit of breathing room, because that's what they want. Well, they want to get a pick. You can like back up for a little bit and then come back. Oh, y'all use 2 crabs at the same place. You got space from that, but because both of your aggros were stuck in crab, you couldn't move up. And so then you didn't make any space from it after the crabs were over. So generally having one person push up while the first crabs, and then delaying the second crab can give you a lot more space in the long run because you have the aggro to push up with the crab space. And then like, yeah, you just repeat it. Yeah, good call to dive, but
Alright, not bad though.
No, I think
I
we
got
had some
really
good
nervous for
pushes.
no reason.
We
I
definitely
think
had some good pushes, but yeah, I think we lost turf control a lot, and then we kind of needed. The rollers were really getting us a lot with the flanks on the stacks. I think what we could have done more is like check your flanks a lot more often, especially for the stacks, and maybe like paint, especially because they're 2 rollers. Paint the walls of the stacks when you can. That way, like it'll give them less time to sneak up on you. I'll let Echo take it from here.
yeah, I first want to like comment on that. The Flingsa has missiles, and it has a lot more range with its vertical flicks. Generally, it's not going to be the one you want to worry about. You just want to worry about the carbon flanking, because that's what the weapon is designed for. Aside from that, I think that game was a lot better. Your retake was fantastic. Just make sure, like, if you have a crab up, make sure you can take space with it. I saw, like, early in the game, Rage backed up with Bee's crab, and so not much was made out of it. The second time you were on left stack as the crab was going in, that was fantastic, and then you moved up to collapse in on someone with your Zinc Mini Splatling. That was so poggers, I'm not even gonna lie. But I think as far as your retake, why it didn't work, you crabbed at the same time. It's partly because like you're not used to using a crab weapon. It was a good time to have 1 crab out. The thing with that is, with crab you want aggressive weapons to take space with the crab, and if both of you are stuck in crab, there's no one to do that. And generally, like, with a lot of specials, they're sort of like that, where you want to use one to get a little bit of space, and then use the next one sort of staggered, so that you can make even more space with it. This is especially the case with crab, where, because it's out for so long, you don't need 2 crabs at once. Or, like, you can sort of use one, and then a couple seconds later, push up with it, and then use it. So then, like, if B uses it first, then, Rage can take right side, and then crab from there, while B takes left and right stacks.
Like, I was like super confused on whether to use it like afterwards or.
I think it's a good call out to say I'm going to crab first, or I'll wait for your crab. Like, you can't read your teammate's mind of when they're going to crab, or when they're going to use special. So just saying like, I'll crab first, don't worry about it. That can be really good. Aside from that, retaking, you want to take left stack. I think you all know that. Let's see. Overall, a lot better. Just a couple of awareness things are catching y'all off guard. You learn with time, and like just playing the game more. Like, don't beat yourself up too much about it. People die to chargers and bombs all the time, and even in higher level play, it happens. But yeah, just keep focused on the game, and like, especially if you die, say where the person is that killed you. So like, I heard B say after they died near the start of the game, like I died to bomb, instead of saying like Junior got me right, I think is a good call out, or like Carbon got me left, Carbon flanking left, left, left. But yeah, especially the Carbon's whereabouts. You want to keep the Carbon known, because if they're on right stack and you don't say Carbon right stack, I might be on left painting up looking for the Carbon, or like scared of it being around me. When if you say like Carbon right, then I can just like take the space and then move up to pressure and mid, for example. I think against Carbon, against Brush, against Dapple, against Brush even, like Ink Brush or Octobrush, like just knowing the positions of like the aggro weapons can help a lot. So you don't get caught off guard when they flank, because they will flank. That's what their weapon's designed for. Yeah, guess that's the main thing. Also, I saw one time where you were on left pressuring a crab. When first you were missiled, you can back up for the missile. Like, they use 2 specials, you don't need to die to. You can just back up into mid. And, like, the main thing about the crab is it was on far left, so it wasn't contesting zone. So even if you got it, it wouldn't have meant that much for your team contesting zone. But you dying means a lot for it. So, even if they use crab, you can just stay alive unless you have, like, they were also in a position where it's just hard to flank. So, if you're missiled, don't... Part of the reason why they notice you is because you were missiled. So even though it's like a tactic cooler where you see it around their person, even if they have ninja. So I guess if you're missiled, try to not take fights, because the missiles will come down and paint around you, and that can be very bad. It's okay to move to the side or even back up for them, because missiles are just a strong special. You can respect them. And then just make sure you're not sharing missiles with your teammates, which sort of is just like teammate awareness, missile awareness. Just a lot of things to keep track of in this game. It can be difficult, so just keep at it. You'll got this. I know that game was a loss, but your retake was fantastic. And yeah.
It didn't feel like a heavy loss, honestly. It felt good to me.
Yeah, I think your retake was good, and your like positioning to take back was still good, even though it didn't work. I think it's a step in the right direction. Especially with specials. Y'all waited for them, and you didn't intentionally like go up. You might have died to like a bomb that was thrown where you didn't expect it, or like someone was sharking. But it wasn't anything where like, yeah, it wasn't like as preventable of a death. I'll say that. I think you're generally taking better positions. So yeah. Yeah, I guess one last thing is okay. How often do you all like play together and then scrim?
Pretty much, we do like a little practice, usually either Friday or Saturday every week at like 6:30, and then I feel like we're trying to do scrims more often now, so like once a week or like once every other week. Um, in terms of playing together, aside from like if we don't have a scrim, we usually play together after our practice. Other than that, it's kind of just whenever anyone's available on the like other days.
Usually, D and I play together almost every day after work.
Yeah,
We live together.
Sid and I
so-
play together a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess like just generally playing alone can be really good for like practicing awareness, or like even callouts if you want to make them shorter, or like just start calling out more.
Something I definitely need to do.
I think
Like solar, just practicing doing callouts.
Yeah.
It's gonna hear them.
Yeah, I think it can be really helpful to like both do it for like calling out enemy positions, calling out when you die, but also like even practicing making calls. I think B, you're doing pretty well with them. And like I think I'm hearing like just stay back and get special from like pretty much everyone in the team, and that's really good. It's honestly like a lot farther than I've seen many other lower level teams. So you're on the right track. I think one big thing is just like playing together more. You learn each other's playstyles more and how to play together, how to coordinate a push. Um, because it's a lot different to do that in open with a teammate, like a single teammate, or it's a lot different to do that in solo than it is in a scrim like this, where not only you all are coordinated, but the enemy is as well. So I might recommend just if you're wanting to play on a certain day, just saying in like general or like the team chat, hey, anyone else want to play? Because as you said, like you all like this game, you're playing it competitively. Come on. So like,
Oh, I hate this game.
yeah.
It's your announcement.
Yeah, that's how I feel sometimes.
I mean, yeah. If you love a game, you hate it. But I think like just playing it more together is a huge thing to like get coordination down. Even if you're like just sort of playing casually, not with your main weapons, it gets you used to calling out together if you want, or it gets you used to like making calls, or even just generally knowing how like to play if people on the other side might be coordinated or not and open. Um, yeah, I guess.
I'm gonna. I don't want to keep them waiting again because I know they don't have someone probably talking.
Yeah,
So
you can start the timer by all means, by all means. Also, just a short thing, B, I don't think it's all that necessary for you to say like what gear you're running, just because like no matter what I run with Splash, I am going to be pretty aggressive and charging crab all day. Like no matter what my gear is, that's still the general game plan. And that's the case with most aggro weapons. So like yeah.
okay. I
Uh
am actually going to be playing Splash for this map again, just so you know.
okay, okay.
Does him load up or nice? Oh wait, should I switch? And we have like
Let's see. We could do the CDS here if you want, or you can stick with Splash. It's up to you.
Either works here. They're both pretty good.
Yeah.
CDS.
Dually Swelters, sorry.
Alright.
Yeah, it's an abbreviation of custom dually squelchers that was around from last game.
I hear people sometimes say BDS. What does that mean?
Vanilla dually squelchers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. That I could not figure it out for so long. I was just like videos.
Video game.
It's okay. We'll learn the terminology together.
Awesome. I like this. I like the look of this. Okay, similar comp. Very similar. I'm gonna go mid left.
I'm gonna go top.
I'm over here.
Oh, I fell.
You're a bit far up here. Okay, you fell back. That's good.
A little bit and right.
Good switch.
Once in there,
Crab ready. I'm gonna back up to our bridge like we have.
Nice. I have killer whale. Let me know when you're crabbing.
Step 1, they crab.
Oh, I
I have an icebreaker.
Step 2, the crab comes out after 2 down.
Right now, the icebreaker defensively. Back up.
I don't think you need to back up to perch to crab. Or like if you want to crab, you can like sort of just stick on right or like left. Either way, crabbing from like you don't need a crab from a perch for it to be effective. Also, really good call, Sid, that you got one. Good call. B, say if you're dropping right.
I almost have a crab again.
Okay. I like that. Narrows drop down. Okay. You got whale. You have crab up front. This is huge. Much better specials waiting for them. This is really good. And now you're moving up with the specials. Good fallback, Nero, honestly. Fantastic push. Good flank. Just... if you're going to flank it, maybe say that early so that, like, people know not to take engagements. That was happening a lot on the right side, because I think they might have thought, well, I guess it was probably better to not take them. But knowing to wait before taking engagements versus to not take them at all are two different things. So... I like that you're calling out that you're flanking. Call it out before you start an engagement. Call out, I think, two phases of saying I'm flanking. One, I'm in a position to flank. Two, I'm actively engaging them from behind. If you start calling out on step 2, then no one can follow up. If you call out on step 1, like, I'm in a position to flank, and then say, like, that can be the I am flanking call, and then I'm fighting them, let's collapse, is one I really like. So, that can let you, sort of be on the same page about what timing you're going for, so then suddenly they have to deal with you instead of dealing with you and then dealing with everyone else from front. They're still there. Yep. I think that's just a bit too forward of a location, Sid. That was unfortunate. If they're, like, in the middle of a push, it's too forward, I mean. Like, if they don't have that bridge, it's not... it's okay. Not preferred for brush, but it's serviceable. But if they have that bridge, then it's another, like, wall that you can outrange. Call it if you're waving. Call it if you're waving. Okay. Good painting here, Nero. I really like that. You're very forward, Sid. Your teammates are not. Okay. So, beeping on top... okay, this is fantastic positioning for the crab. Yep. You can maybe break that. Okay. One big thing with that is, with the crab, there were two things that you were doing with it. Half the team... well, Sid thought you were pushing up far with it and trying to take fights. Everyone else thought you were just taking mid and being passive with it. And so Sid died because there were two different ideas of what you were doing with the crab. Okay. I want to watch a bit of, Rage here. Oh. Okay, decent pick here. You can position a bit more forward than this. You have a tendency to back up.
Good try.
I think, yeah, that was pretty good. I noticed, I only looked at you for, like, the last 30 seconds. I forget who the VDS player was. Or the... okay, Rage. You have a tendency to roll backwards, or, like, to generally just back up with squelchers. I think, especially if they don't know where you are, you can pretty easily, like, roll into a position to, like, start pressuring them, and then, like, go from there. Out of curiosity, do you know what the jump tech is?
The jump tech? No, not really.
Okay, so it's relatively simple, just like, if you, like, roll with squelchers, you can jump immediately after. So, like, instead of, like, if you do 2 rolls, you can't. But, if you do only 1 roll, then you can. it's something that it can help a bit with like moving around an opponent, because then they have to not only predict how many times you roll and where you roll, but also if you'll jump after. Aside from that, the DPS and velocity of Squelchers is... It's good enough to be able to take fights at mid-range, especially if you're in dodge roll mode. So, I think just taking a few fights. More fights, especially with, like, the brush able to distract opponents. I saw a few moments where, like, the team was sort of separated. Like, Sid thought you were going to be pushing in and taking more fights. Everyone else sort of just stayed passive in mid. And so Sid died because of that, because they didn't really have the support they needed. But I don't think it was, like, bad positioning. It was mostly just coordination being an issue.
Something that I realized I wasn't thinking about too much because I was thinking about other things, that I wasn't thinking about, like, awareness of, like, everyone else in order to go, like, help them, or, like, you know, crossfire.
Yeah, that's...
Usually I think about where Sid is because I know they're going to be skirmishing and I can get those kills. I wasn't thinking about that as much this time as I should have been. I was kind of tunnel visioning more on my own position, which I think was bad.
Yeah, it happens, so, I think... I think you did a lot better with holding both sides of Eeltail. The main thing is just, like, getting positioning on their bridge, and then top right is huge for, like, getting space. I think, if you're going to wave break, make sure you call that out, just so that, like, the team knows, or, like, so the team knows that, like, there'll be a wave breaker to help them in any fights they take, because that can be, like, a difference maker. It's... yeah. I guess, like, also saying where you're throwing it, so, like, throwing a wave on right, so that if someone's on left, then they're not going to be like, oh, I can take fights with a wave breaker that's nowhere near me now, right? Also, just to go back to, like, the last conversation, you don't necessarily need to schedule a scrim to ping for one in, like, Ludi or IPL. So if you realize you happen to have 4 players, by all means just ping in one of those servers, or, like, LSL. Worst case, you still play open together. Best case, you get a scrim and get more practice.
That's true.
So, yeah, I guess it's something to consider.
I know our biggest difficulty is usually just all of our times are, like, so different that it's like these Friday, Saturday windows are, like, pretty much, like, for sure when we, you know, like most people will be together. Especially, I think right now
I'm
with, like,
Australian.
yeah.
That'll do it.
I have the time zone bot in the server.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is something we can implement. Is just be like, hey, is anyone around?
Yeah, I think one last thing might be, like, I'd always recommend, like, watching other players' gameplay, so, like, any streams on Twitch that you see, or YouTube, of, like, just gameplay of tournaments. This is not only for, like, seeing how other players position with, like, your weapon, but also how they call out. Because knowing how other players do comms can give you some inspiration. Yeah. I guess... yeah, this is definitely a step in the right direction. I think it's just, like, being able to know, like, where teammates are and, like, when to push up and when not to seems to be the main thing right now. And of course, like, choosing that decision as a team rather than, like, having 2 different answers for it. I've noticed in general most of the team is very scared. Like, you sort of move up hesitant. And I guess, like, in some situations that can be safe, but especially if you have, like, a special out, then you can be free to take a bit more of a risk, just because, like, this special sort of pushes it further in your favor. And like once the special's done, then the opposing team can push in with their own specials, and that can be even harder to deal with on the back foot. So just knowing like when your teammates are using special and where they're making space, so then you can make the most of that. But yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna get the timer going for this next one. Thank you again, Echo. It is Rainmaker Flounder Heights. I am going to go tit attack for this. Thank you, Echo.
Yeah, thank you.
Anytime. I think this will be my last one, by the way.
Okay, that's okay.
This could be my last one too. I need like a break at least to get a drink.
We've been going for about 2 hours now, and honestly, we're pretty much after this match. Honestly, we will have played through 3 rounds from the LSL. Map mode list or whatever, and the round 4 is like if it says if needed. So I guess if there's like ties, so like this would be like the first like half of a tournament. So like I am also fine to end it after this one, just because I also have to in the morning.
And I'm getting hungry with this time.
Pizza's almost delicious. Well, it's funny how everyone's having pizza.
Yeah.
I'm very tempted to go get
I
pizza
don't
myself
know
now.
which weapon to have. I think I might just go Julie's Butchers again. I don't know. Or maybe
I think that's up to you.
yeah, I
I
think
do like the
I'll
spot.
go Julie's.
Okay.
Julie's Butchers.
Oh, you just made the time. Nice.
Alright, rounder.
Be conscious of ink. We don't have the best perf ability here.
Watch out for that.
Okay.
They can
For a comp that doesn't have a crab, I really like this comp. Like I think of like comps without crab, this is really good.
Flanking from
Like the
car
theory behind it is like,
got a hit.
oh no, that's unfortunate.
Coming from car park and underneath bridge.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, just knowing like brush in a 1v1 doesn't really win against carbon.
Okay, back.
I think I've heard from a teammate or a former teammate that like the brush v carbon 1v1 is very in the carbon's favor, so it's kind of painful.
Wavebreaker on now.
Sid moved up just a bit too far alone without special or any specials going on. B's also very far up, but like no one's really pressuring her to back up, so it's fine. Good call out. It was late, but like hey, you got and Sid moved up with it. Y'all still need to clear out right side.
Go up this left side wall here. Carbon.
That was unsafe because it was still mostly painted. You didn't know where the carbon was. And okay, this positioning is very bad because look around you. You cannot back up once you drop down. By all means, you can stay on this like on the wall, like above it. So then if you back up, you can back behind the wall to like where the bottom of the screen is. Sort of near the checkpoint of Rainmaker. And like you're not trapped. Okay, good fallback, but you're still a bit trapped there. Yeah, it's mostly just you didn't have all that much pain, and so when you were
I got carbon, but faded. Not worth it.
jeez, that's a quick push. Good bomb.
Carbon's going up LAC. Careful rage.
Whoa.
Alright,
Okay, that was just a bit of lag. Wavebreaker, tri-strike. Okay, this is a situation where like especially with the everything going on the left side, having like being able to take left zone would be huge. 1v1, you have time here. They use special, but they don't have anyone around them. Okay, you fell back and did not engage. Perfect. Very good, very good. Just, yeah, resetting neutral is what you want there. The main okay, you use 2 specials, but you're 2 down, so you can't really make anything out of them. You try to push up with it. If you had 4 people alive, that would be good. But you got chipped out, yeah. Really good. Good movement there. I think it's just like having someone else up top so that the squelchers can stay there safely. I think that was a really good play, Sid. Just unfortunate that they, like, 2 picks for a trade is good. Let's watch Narrow Sum. Last alive. You're very visible. They see you. They have you called out. Okay. There's still pain on the left side of you, so you could have gotten punished there. But you didn't move forward, so that's good. Carbon. Good pick. It's not slowing them down, it's making space in front. Close enough, but like... I think one thing with that is, you tried to push up before getting picks. You took Rainmaker before getting picks. And so, you were sort of in a 3v4 until then. Like, just holding right zone is very valuable. Like, you've seen them just hold left a lot before pushing in. Because it's so hard for the opponent to get back in. And, like, they have to take risks in order to get there. So, it's often valuable to just stay there and wait until you get more specials to push further. Furthermore, having your specials on, like, right wall can be really helpful. Or, just sort of to take right zone is really important here. I think that's mostly a map awareness thing. You don't need to take Rainmaker until...
Wait to grab it.
Okay.
Because then if you die before it goes into over... Or not wait if you grab it, wait to push when you do grab it, because then if you die before it goes into overtime, then we don't get the overtime.
Yeah, that's basically it.
That was a very panicky game. We were just out-painted pretty much the entire time, I think was our major downfall. We struggled with the carbon a lot. We struggled painting. We were getting kind of isolated too often and then staggering from that. I think we didn't stick together enough and didn't play patently enough.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly like, on Flounder Heights, it's very important to take left and right zones. Do you know what I'm referring to when I say that?
When you say left and right zones, you don't mean like the car park, right? You mean like where like the splat zones usually are?
Yeah, generally where the zones are. Car park is important as well, but that's not as like important as top right, top left. Because if you have top, then if someone's in car park, you can sort of just use your fall off shots, and then make sure that like they can't push towards you without taking a risk. So I guess I saw good special coordination. Make sure that everyone's alive if you're using 2 specials to push in. I saw that happen once, and you didn't really get anything out of it, and that's 2 specials that you used.
That was I think when I used Ink Strike and Nero used Booyah, right?
Yep. Booyah can be really good to clear out right side of Flounder. So like, I guess I mean like the right side of mid, but also just moving up with Rainmaker, it can be huge. Also, you can just hold top right